So what they say my warrant for?
So your warrant is for a failure to appear. Dispatch is gonna call in and make sure it's still valid.
Failure to appear where? I didn't have no court dates.
It's for a DUI out of Pickens County.
Out of Pickens County?
32. Could you go and confirm that warrant?
The only DUI, I had a suspicion of a DUI a long time ago, and it was dismissed, so I don't know what they can be talking about.
The latest news about King Harris is much more serious and darker than anyone could have predicted. What is happening right now might be the very worst thing his father, T, could have imagined coming true. And the craziest part of it all is that T saw this coming a long time ago. Way back in 2022, the famous rapper T sat his son, King Harris, down and gave him a serious warning. He told King that if he didn't change his ways and slow down with his behavior, he was headed straight for prison. It was a father's attempt to guide his son away from trouble. Now, 2 years after that warning, those old words don't just sound like simple advice anymore. They feel like a prediction that is coming true right before everyone's eyes.
Man, Pickens County, I don't even know what Pickens County is. So I'm confused.
Where was your DUI?
Jasper
Jasper, is that a city or a county?
County. Can I call my lawyer?
It seems that the lesson T warned his son about has finally arrived. He once said that time was going to be his teacher. Well, in October of 2024, that teacher showed up, and it came in the form of handcuffs and a jail cell. This was the moment King Harris officially crashed and got into very serious trouble. The whole incident started when King was driving his BMW. He pulled out of a Chevron gas station and almost drove straight into a police car. This wasn't just an accident or simple bad luck. It was a result of his own poor choices, and it seemed like his bad karma was finally catching up to him all at once. The police officers did not wait to take action. As soon as they walked up to his car, they smelled the strong scent of marijuana. Then, they immediately saw a loaded 9mm gun sitting on his hip, right in the open. From that point on, the situation was completely over for him. Things went from bad to worse when the police ran his name through their computer. An old, open warrant from 2022 suddenly came back to haunt him. This warrant was for past mistakes, including speeding, driving with a license that had been suspended, and driving under the influence, or DUI. Instead of dealing with these charges in court back then, King had chosen to skip out on it. That decision to avoid his problems had been waiting in the background all this time, like a ticking time bomb. In 2024, that bomb finally exploded right in his face. Later, body camera footage from the police was leaked to the public. The video showed the entire event. You could see the cops pulling King out of his car, unclipping the gun from his waist, putting handcuffs on his wrists, and patting him down. But what really stood out to people was King's own behavior. He wasn't yelling or going wild. He definitely looked annoyed and irritated, but he was surprisingly calm. It was almost as if he knew that this was the day he could no longer escape his past, and that all his mistakes were catching up to him at once. An officer even mentioned later that King was respectful during the arrest, which only made people on the internet even more fascinated by the whole situation. The truth is, when you are the son of a famous hip-hop legend like T, every single mistake you make turns into a big news story. One day you are showing off your expensive life on Instagram, and the next day you are sitting in the DeKalb County Jail with millions of people watching your downfall. For his father, T, this whole situation must have been incredibly painful. He had seen this coming from a very long way off. Back in 2022, when King was starting to spiral out of control, T went live on the internet and shared his fears with everyone. He said, "I ain't spoke to my son, but I know exactly how it's going to turn out." His prediction, sadly, turned out to be exactly right.
Hey, I don't want y'all to check the car.
I can't hear you.
I don't want y'all to search the car.
Well, I understand that, but if I smell weed, that's probable cause to search the vehicle.
You're not gonna find nothing. You're gonna find my gun.
The contradiction is wild, right?
Just imagine being a parent and predicting that your child is heading for serious trouble. Then, you have to stand by and actually watch it all happen, exactly as you feared. For T, this was his reality. But the truth is, there were many warning signs for years leading up to this moment. People might remember the big blow-up at the Waffle House back in 2022. There was a video of King Harris screaming at the restaurant staff, acting like he was more important than everyone else. He was trying to act tough and show off in a situation where there was absolutely nothing to prove. Even T talked about it afterward, going live on the internet and admitting he was confused by his son's behavior. He said he didn't understand why King would stop everything just to get into a loud argument with a cook. Fans and people watching online said the incident didn't make King look tough at all. Instead, it made him look spoiled and entitled, as if he thought the rules didn't apply to him. Then, there was another famous incident involving a video clip with a gun. King was with his friend, the son of another rapper. Instead of putting their energy into making good music, the two boys filled their music video shoot with guns, acting as if they were in a very dangerous situation. It was a silly and dangerous display. The situation became so serious that both of their fathers, T and the other rapper, had to step in. They spoke to their sons directly on camera, telling them straight up that their behavior was wrong and that they needed to do better. It was another clear sign that King was losing his way and making poor choices.
What I would appreciate more than anything right now is to be able to make a phone call. So when we get there, it can already be figured out.
To who? Who are you trying to make a phone call to?
I'm trying to make a phone call to my pop.
The lesson from his father was very clear. One single wrong move involving guns or drugs could ruin his entire life and everything his family had built. But it seemed that King was just not listening to this important advice. By the year 2023, the situation became even more serious and ugly for everyone to see. There was a specific incident at an Atlanta Falcons football game that quickly went viral all over the internet. King was sitting in a luxury suite high up in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which is one of the most expensive and comfortable places you can watch a game. While sitting there, he went live on the internet and tried to convince everyone watching that his life had never been easy and that he never had any special advantages. The irony, or the opposite of what he was saying, was obvious to everyone. He was saying these things while broadcasting from one of the most privileged seats in the entire stadium. This was the final straw for his father, T. When King started to raise his voice and argue, the man known as the King of the South completely lost his temper. Right there on the live stream, with millions of people watching, T put his own son in a headlock. This wasn't just a normal moment of tension between a father and his son. This was something much deeper and more painful. It was like all the struggles and problems that get passed down through a family were suddenly spilling out for the entire world to see. It was a very public and very sad moment for their family.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law.
Around this time, another embarrassing story about King's past came out. His own mother, Tiny, revealed something very personal during an interview. She told everyone that King had been using a pacifier, the way a baby does, until he was 12 years old. The internet immediately jumped on this information and made fun of him endlessly. That one small detail about the pacifier completely contradicted all the tough and hard images he was always trying to show the world. It gave all the people who criticized him endless ammunition to make jokes and clown him for being immature. But the embarrassing moments did not stop there. As things moved into the year 2024, King just kept making more mistakes and having more failures, which people often call stacking up L's. In one instance, he was made fun of for posting a video of himself eating cheap ramen noodles out of a bowl made of aluminum foil. The problem was that he was doing this inside his family's giant, expensive mansion. People said he was trying to pretend he was still struggling and living a hard life, while at the very same time he was wearing expensive designer clothes. It just didn't seem real or honest. Another failure happened when he tried to perform at a high school basketball game. Instead of the crowd cheering for him, they started booing and laughing at him. They heckled him so badly that he couldn't even finish his performance. He also tried to start a fight, or a beef, with a famous comedian named Drewski. King tried to claim that he was the one who invented the popular phrase, standing on business, which means handling your responsibilities. But everyone knew that wasn't true, and it just made him look like he was desperate for attention and trying to start drama for no good reason.
DJ Academics gave probably the most brutal but accurate commentary on the whole situation.
In reality, he got arrested for a failure to appear ticket for a traffic violation, so they arrested him. But we know this is King, so we're just gonna call it. We're gonna call it that they locked him up for a body.
When King tried to start a fight with the comedian Drewski, it completely backfired. Drewski went on a popular radio show called The Breakfast Club and completely destroyed King's arguments with clever jokes. King tried to clap back with insults about Drewski's weight, but those fat jokes only made King himself look more desperate and immature. However, his biggest and most embarrassing moment happened when he was a guest on a podcast hosted by the rapper 2 Chainz. During the interview, when King was 20 years old, he was asked to spell a simple word: tomorrow. He could not do it. The camera showed his father T.I.'s face in the background, and the look of pure disappointment said everything. That video clip went viral across the internet. He wasn't famous for his music or his talent, but for showing the entire world that he was unprepared and uneducated. Then, in late 2024, something major happened that gave King a new title: fatherhood. His girlfriend, Jania, gave birth to their son in November. King posted about it proudly on the internet, announcing the time his son was born and welcoming King Jr. to the world. He even released a new song called Dear Son, which was dedicated to his new baby. For a little while, it looked like becoming a father might finally be the thing that settled him down and made him responsible. But there was a big problem. At the very same time King was holding his newborn son, the video of his arrest from the gas station was still spreading everywhere online. His chance to show he had changed and to redeem himself was completely buried under the news of his mugshot and the memes that were making fun of him. The happy moment of becoming a dad was overshadowed by his own bad choices.
I'm so puzzled why King feels the desire, need, want to be considered a street dude that badly. Why is he so obsessed with the struggle, with the life of being a street dude? Street dudes ain't really winning.
Silver spoon, I ain't never ate with that day a day in my life.
Nigga, you did have a silver spoon.
Look, we used to have to come to my grandma's house because I'm getting in the
You
fight.
cried like a baby to go to your grandmama's house.
Every day.
You used to hold your breath.
Every
and
day.
no tantrums to go over there.
I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood.
Over there. Y'all ready? Cause he can suck and pacify over there till he was 12 years old. He was sucking and pacify till he was 12 years old. He couldn't do that in the house.
You cried like a baby. Hold your breath.
They trying to say I was over there trying to suck up.
Don't play with people's kids now.
He
Don't
talking
play
about,
with
hey,
King.
come on, man. What? Come on, bro.
King said
You
he
talking about
created
King
the term standing on
TIP,
business.
son?
Yes, King.
He said he pulling up on you.
As time went on, the rumors about King started to become much more serious and darker. By the year 2025, a shocking story exploded all over the internet. There were whispers that King had been sentenced to 5 years in prison and that he had been attacked, or jumped, by other inmates inside a jail in Georgia. According to the gossip reported on blogs and social media, he was beaten up by several other prisoners. The rumors even claimed that the security cameras in the jail had mysteriously stopped working at the exact time of the fight. Whether or not the story was actually true, the fact that so many people were quick to believe it shows just how badly King's public image had been damaged. People were now willing to believe the worst about him. This is because in the harsh world of jail, the reputation you built on the outside follows you inside. And for King, the wannabe gangster character he had played up in his videos and on social media was like chum in the water for sharks. It made him a target for people who were the real thing, and it showed that his tough guy act had very real and dangerous consequences.
With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating, that means you're a rat.
Tell me. It been 20 years, bro. It been 20 years. I figure if I wasn't built like that, it'll show by now. It been 20 years, bro. I done faced every challenge motherfucker that like to throw at me, man. You ain't seen me fold, you ain't seen me break down. I ain't one of you niggas who done been to the penitentiary before, man. What happened when a motherfucker say somebody ain't right and they goddamn show their paperwork and they is right? What's the penalty for that? Can somebody tell me what is that punishable by? Somebody tell me that.
But I'm gonna tell you like this, when I saw that, I think T.I. fucking lying. With the T.I. situation, if he did that, you're a fucking rat too. I don't spare no motherfucking body. Because if you doing anything wrong, you doing anything criminal-wise, and you cooperate with law enforcement to get you out of trouble, that means you're cooperating. That means you're a rat.
Wayne, wait, you gone too fucking far, dog. That is a male, a 12-year-old. At 12, they don't even know what their next meal gonna be.
I live with my grandma. You know, we'll go to the house on like the weekend. They'll say, hey, we shooting today. We need y'all at the house. They'll come get me from my grandma's house. And right after we done, when the cameras go off, I'm right back to my...
The way T supposedly reacted to the news about his son was truly heartbreaking. This was the same father who had previously cut his son off financially, believing in tough love to teach him a lesson. But now, reports said that T was begging the prison system to step in and protect King. He was allegedly calling the jailhouse attack a planned and targeted hit on his son. That's when it became clear the situation was no longer about a father giving his son a lecture. This was now about King's basic survival. And while King was supposedly fighting for his life on the inside, his personal life on the outside was also falling to pieces. Drama with the mother of his child, Jinia Nana Epps, began to take over the news headlines. Blogs were claiming that Nana had been manipulating King for money. They said she was using their child as a way to pressure T and Tiny into giving her financial support. T reportedly confronted her directly, accusing her of not being with King for love, but only to get access to the Harris family's bank accounts. The situation became so toxic and messy that new rumors started to spread. In response to all the pressure, King was said to have retaliated in a terrible way. He allegedly leaked a list of his father's supposed secret affairs, trying to threaten Tiny by suggesting she should get a divorce. Whether this was true or just another rumor, it showed the deep cracks in the family. The trust that was supposed to hold them together was shattering under all the stress. Then, in the fall of 2025, another rapper named Boozy Badass added more fuel to the fire. He publicly mocked King by spreading a vicious rumor about a leaked private tape involving another man. Boozy used this rumor to attack T, saying, "That little boy got them tapes out. You can't raise no street soldier if you soft yourself." This wasn't just about making fun of King anymore. It was an attack designed to completely destroy T.I.'s legacy and reputation as a strong father. Meanwhile, T and Tiny were dealing with their own major problems. They had won a huge lawsuit for $71 million, but a judge later reduced that amount to just $17.9 million. People online began to speculate about what would happen to that money. Would T use it to pay for expensive lawyers to try and save King from prison? Or, after everything that had happened, would he finally step back and let his son face the consequences of his actions and sink? By September, it was clear King still wasn't making good choices. He was still making what people call tone-deaf moves, like offering his friend, Tootie Raw, free dental veneers if he would join a gym challenge. The internet just laughed at him, saying it proved he cared more about silly social media stunts than he did about actually fixing his very serious real-life problems.
I just made this offer to my boy Tootie. I'm gonna let the world know this offer. I told my dog all he gotta do is come to the gym with me, and I'm gonna get him set up with some veneers on me.
I don't wish it on him, you know what I'm saying? I don't wish it on him. And I love him through it. Whatever he going through, I love him through it. Much criticism as I receive about my son, I would like to shed light on it. Try to take the good with the bad and just let him know, you go into prison if you keep it up.
Then, the situation took an even darker turn with disturbing whispers from the hospital. News reports began to swirl, claiming that King had been in another fight inside the jail and that his injuries were so bad he had to be rushed to the intensive care unit, which is called the ICU. There were even rumors of footage showing masked men hanging around outside his hospital room. This made fans terrified that his enemies had followed him into the one place he should have been safe and protected. His family was overcome with fear and grief. T was seen outside the hospital, crying and praying, saying, "Lord, take everything I own. Just don't take my boy." Tiny went online to beg all of their fans for their prayers and support. This terrible moment changed the whole story of the Harris family. It was no longer just an embarrassing public scandal. It had become a genuine tragedy. By the end of 2025, the story of King Harris had become one of the most dramatic and spectacular downfalls people had ever seen in the new generation of rap. His life had it all: being born with great privilege, making a long string of poor choices, suffering public humiliation, dealing with chaotic baby mama drama, and facing near-fatal ICU rumors. It was a real-life warning story happening right before everyone's eyes. The saddest part of the entire situation is that it all could have been avoided. With all of his family's money, connections, and support, King could have built his own business empire. He could have stepped into the rap game legitimately and secured his own positive legacy. Instead, he spent his time chasing validation from the streets and trying to act tough, and he nearly lost everything because of it, even his life. Now, the only question that remains is, will King Harris be able to learn from his mistakes and rise from the wreckage of his own life? Or will he become just another sad casualty in the endless war between having privilege and trying to be seen as credible by the wrong people? The entire world is still watching, waiting to see what his next move will be.